Exactly 1 year ago today, May 18th, 2025, I started my company. And since then, I've managed to learn 5 important lessons, and I want to be able to share them all with you. So, without further ado, number one, you are your business. And I don't mean that in a very cheeky way where like you are the heart and fuel of the business. That's true. But what I really mean by that is that you literally are the business. The level of greatness and individual responsibility that you have for yourself is going to be the level of greatness and individual or business responsibility the business will have. And so what I mean by that is if you wake up at 5 a.m., your business wakes up at 5 a.m. If you choose to smoke cigarettes all day, your business is going to smoke cigarettes all day. And so I really learned this from being president of my fraternity chapter. When I dedicated the time to work on me first and build a strong character, a strong, responsible, ambitious person who's able to focus on his health, focus on his mental health, his mental clarity, all those things translated into my fraternity chapter. And I was able to have a very successful presidential run, all because I chose to dedicate time to me, like me first. I woke up early, I journaled, I watched impactful videos, I deleted social media for quite a while. I was trying to stay off of it. I worked out, things like that. And those things translated into just me being a very impactful leader on campus and also within my fraternity chapter. Like I took it to a new level because I just had the energy, I had the mental bandwidth, I had it all. Because I chose to work on me first. I didn't allow the chapter to suckle all that energy out of me, right? Because at a point, if you don't build on yourself, you're not building your reservoir of energy and you don't have nothing more to give and you're running on fumes. Don't do that to yourself. You are the business. And so when it comes to my business, I still wake up early. I do mile jogs. I make sure that I journal. I make sure that I stay off of social media. The only social media I'm really on is LinkedIn. I make sure that I take care of myself because the level of greatness that I can achieve for myself is going to directly translate to the level of greatness that I can be able to have with my business. You are your business. So the second thing that I want to be able to pass on is the concept of leveraging. When most people talk about this subject or this topic, they like to use it in a very sneaky social connotation, right? You just got to leverage or something like that. But I want to reframe it just a tad bit. And what I mean by leverage is that the thing that you are building, the experience, the skills, whatever you are building, before you can go to the next position, right? What does it mean to leverage? What it really means is that are you confident to stand on the thing that you are building in order to leverage yourself into the next position? That's what leveraging means. And almost anything could be of leverage. As long as you take time to build it and you are confident enough to stand on it without it just crumbling below you, and you can utilize that in order to get to the next position, that's literally what leverage is. And there's so many different ways that you could think about the concept of leverage, so long as you keep in mind that we're talking about building something, doing something, gaining experience, and then utilizing that as leverage, right? Utilizing things as assets. That's what's super important. And so anything could be of leverage, right? When it comes to like networking, right? Can you be able to network with one person and being able to wow them so they can leverage you into the next position or the next room, right? Or, and this goes back to what everybody's here, can you bring that person of value, right? One thing that I've learned in being in business is I am busy. Like my friends, I send them a Calendly link because I'm so busy. If it's not on my calendar, I promise you I'm not linking up with you, bro. Like it's not happening. I am busy. And people who have like real functioning businesses, if I think I'm busy, I'm pretty sure they're busier. You really have to have something of leverage where they're going to dedicate and turn their head and they're going to have to look at you and then be like, okay, now I'm interested. Let's talk. That's what real leverage looks like. The third thing that I have in here is, bro, buy the coffee. What I mean by that is don't buy the coffee. I mean, if you drink coffee, cool, right? But what I don't mean that if you're not a coffee drinker, you don't have to be a coffee drinker. But this concept comes from Jim Rohn, which is he's a motivational speaker. He talks about a lot about entrepreneurship and things like that. And he says that, you know, find the person that's going to be able to send you to the next step, right? Find the person that you really need to network with in order to gain that knowledge and that wisdom, and go buy them lunch, right? Now, I'm not saying you have to buy them lunch, but buy them a coffee. The amount of wisdom and knowledge that could be passed on from another person is invaluable. They like the entrepreneurial experiences and the things that it does to your brain and the way that you go about life is going to fundamentally change the way you think and operate within life. And when you are talking to people who's been doing it for 10, not even 5 years, right? 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, buy them a cup of coffee. All you need to do is connect with them on LinkedIn and say, hey, I have this idea, you're within this field, I want to further discuss potential ways in which we can connect together over a cup of coffee. Would you mind doing that? Whatever, however you want to frame it. I would go with that format, but whatever. Buy them a cup of coffee. Number one, like, you can't really turn down a free coffee. And if you got 30 minutes of free time in the morning, you got 30 minutes of free time in the morning. Buy the cup of coffee. Sit down, come with the book, write down all your questions, then come with the pen, write all the things down, show them that you're serious. But the knowledge that they're able to pass on to you is worth millions of dollars. It's worth millions of dollars, if not that, thousands. It's going to expedite your entrepreneurial process like nothing else. Take that $5, whatever you have, and buy them a cup of coffee. Take them out. Go to a local coffee shop. It's the best thing that you can do. The next thing that I have is prototype it before you perfect it, which is another way of saying analysis paralysis, right? Analysis paralysis is where you analyze, you want to perfect it in your mind before you actually like implement it and execute it, right? And because you're analyzing all the time, you're paralyzing yourself. You can't really act because you haven't really perfected it in your mind, right? But my way that I like it is prototype it before you perfect it. And the reason why I like this more is because, I mean, it's psychologically based, right? There's a reason why journaling is so impactful. And I'm going to give you a gem. This is going to be an absolute gem. There's a reason why journaling is so impactful. The reason is because the mind operates in approximations. When you think, you don't have fully clear ideas yet. They're not fully defined yet. They're approximations, right? Approximations, right? When I'm speaking to you in front of the camera right now, every word that I'm saying, I'm not explicitly and consciously aware of every single word that I'm about to say. My mind automatically filters the approximate idea that I have and pushes it through whatever mechanism that it has, and it comes out in words automatically. I'm not conscious of the words as I'm not conscious of the words that's exactly about to come out of my mouth, right? If I were, then I would think like this because I have to be conscious of the word. Like, you see what I mean? But we don't talk that way. It's just automatic. It's an approximate idea and then it automatically comes out in words. Now, this is why journaling is so impactful. If the mind operates in approximate ideas and you're trying to analyze it in your mind, you're trying to think it out and whatnot, you're never going to get anywhere. It is only until the point that you're able to put those ideas into words, right, in which your mind is no longer going to evaluate the approximate cloud here, it's going to evaluate the defined and clearly written concept here, right? When you have the ability to evaluate something that's clearly defined, you can be able to look at the sentence and say, well, is this true? Is this exactly how I feel? And then you can be able to leverage, see that? You can be able to leverage that sentence into the next sentence, right? And then you can uncover ways that you think about yourself or uncover ways that you think about other people or just the world simply through journaling. This is why it's super impactful, because you can get to know more about yourself. And it's only because you have the ability to evaluate something that's clearly written, not an approximate cloud in your head. Now, the actual gem is that the same is true not in thought, but in action, right? So when you prototype it first, when you just make a basic concept exist, when it actually exists, you're no longer evaluating the idea of the object you're trying to build, you're evaluating the actual existence of it. and it's going to be able to conjure more ideas and creative ideas and new ways of thinking about the object that you're trying to build or you have built at that point. You'll be able to open up other sectors of your brain that you wouldn't have if you never prototyped it first, right? So put the idea, whatever you have, build it first. I don't care what it looks like, if it's a tech startup or whether it's some physical object, somehow build it. Then evaluate the actual thing itself. Stop evaluating the ideas. You have to first execute, and then you're able to transition into the roles of perfecting it, because you can't perfect that which does not exist yet. You can't do it. So stop being paralyzed and trying to analyze all the time. Do it, execute, put it into existence, and evaluate that as opposed to your ideas. Because your ideas is going to only lead to approximate ideas, and approximate ideas is going to lead to no action. And the last thing that I have in here is overload your goals, right? And this is one of the things that I learned from my mentors, is when you overload your goals, you essentially cut down the time for execution, right? So for instance, if I needed, and this was a time for me, right? If I needed somebody to work on my team, right? I needed somebody who's a front end, back end, kind of IT, right? Data engineer, whatever, right? Let's say I needed somebody within that space. Instead of sitting here thinking, okay, how am I supposed to get these people, right? Obviously I don't have the answer because I haven't done it yet to have the experience to have the know-how, right? So what you need to do is, number one, you need to think like the person that knows the answer, right? And this comes from another, video, right? Instead of, if you want to be healthier, right? Don't ask, oh, what should I do, right? You should ask yourself, what would a healthy person do? And think in their framework, and then you'll see how your mind unlocks. You need to genuinely prompt your brain, right? People love prompting AI, right? But they don't prompt themselves, right? You need to sit there and say, you are this, and that. You need to achieve this, and that. You need to put that in very clear terms, and then act on that prompt that you set for yourself. You'll unlock so many things for yourself on how you gain a little bit more clarity in how to think about certain things, which is unbelievable. But what I'm really saying is, when you overload your goals, number one, you have to adopt that framework, right? And then the second thing is that you need to identify all the possible ways in which you can achieve your goal, right? And goal, I don't mean something very broad, right? Or make $1 million. That's not going to be able to you can't really do that, right? What I mean by goal is again, going back to what I needed. I needed somebody who front end, back end, data engineering, people who do that type of work. And then I need to ask myself, okay, what are all the possible ways in which I can find people who do this type of work, right? When I ask myself that, what comes to mind? Well, first I need to find out where they exist, right? I need to go to the computer science department. I need to go to the IT department. I need to go to wherever they would be at, right? I need to go in those spaces, those clubs, right? I need to go in there. I need to go into the GroupMe. I need to go into the Flare. I need to go to the department. I need to go to the staff. I need to go to the advisor of the whole entire thing. Do they have a student registrar where they have all the majors and stuff like that? Can I contact them based off of that, based off of their email, right? Are they on LinkedIn? Let's use filters. Okay. Are they on Handshake? Let's use filters. Okay. So when you overload your goal, right, you shorten the time for you to achieve the goal. And so what this means is that instead of doing this, right, you don't want to go to the computer science department, right, spend a couple of days and be like, well, that didn't work. I didn't find nobody. Let me go on LinkedIn. And you go on LinkedIn and you try saying, well, that didn't work. I guess I got to go to the next thing, right? Stop breaking it up into this didn't work and now to the next thing. Do all of it simultaneously. Do all of it simultaneously. Your goal is to either be seen or contact 500 people or 100 people, right? You need to, especially if it's people, you need to write a particular number for this goal that you have in mind, right? So if I need to find somebody, I need to write down 100 people. And then I ask, how can I find 100 people that does X, right, in this amount of time? Write all the possible ways and execute simultaneously. Because even if I get in front of 500 people or even 100 people, whatever, I'm able to capture at least 15, 20, maybe 10. That's good. And now I can evaluate the people that I did have. Because you got to always underestimate your ability to reach out to somebody and capture their attention. You always have to underestimate that. And so if you reach out to 500 people simultaneously and you have 20 people interested, Great, now you have the opportunity to tell 15 no and 5 yes, right? However, if you chose to do, nah, and then no, and then not really, and then one that's going to take so much time, money, and resources for you to do that. Do it all at the same time, and now you just save yourself so much time, and now you have the ability to tell other people no, and then tell these people yes, right? And even an additional benefit is that you can evaluate the 5 people against the 15, right? Versus if you take your slow time, and if I went to the computer science business building and I only found 3 people, right? I'm only comparing that one person against the other 2, right? And that one person might be better than the other 2, but how would I know how good that person is compared to the possible 20 other people that I could have been had? So there's so many benefits with overloading your goals. Being able to just pour everything into the goal and achieve it as fast as possible and have just so much resource abundance at your fingertips. That's what's most important. And that's going to be able to help you achieve your goals so fast, and you're going to be able to have more options for yourself. And then you can be able to just go to the next thing. So those are the 5 things that I've learned being 1 year into the startup entrepreneurial journey, and I love it. And I won't trade it for anything else. Catch me for year 2 or something like that. See you guys.